would be mostly consonants. Ladies and gentlemen, the hilarious Mr. Paul Barach.
I went to the symphony last week. I don't think it's right for them to charge me $30 to see a Beethoven cover band. True fact, we have most of Beethoven's symphonies, none of his drum solos. I didn't think it was that good either. So I recently broke up with my girlfriend, which is good, because I no longer walk down the street going over arguments I'm about to have. But I now get to play my new favorite game, Don't Cry Here. You can play it anywhere. Today it's a bank, tomorrow who knows. Now, she meant a lot to me, you know, and I'll never forget the last thing she said before she left. She said, "Paul, you can't spell love without you and I." She couldn't read. But it's been good being single, because I'm starting to figure out, you know, who I want to date, who I don't. And a weird thing happened to me recently. I just finished a show, and I got off stage, and there was a bride in the audience, and she was trying to hook me up with her friend, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, he's pretty funny." And her friend, like, totally not into me. She knew I was unemployed because she'd heard my set. And I was looking at her, and this girl looked like every girl I've hated since high school. Like, she was spray tan, she had this two-tone bleach blonde hair, and like a facial piercing, but a boring kind. Like, I didn't know that was possible. And we looked at each other, and it was this perfect moment where we could read exactly what the other person was thinking. Like, she looked at me, and I just heard, "Yeah, you don't have a job?" And I looked at her like, "Yeah, the last girl I dated owned wolves." I'm not wasting my time either. So a weird thing happened to me too when I got back. I'd left the state for a bit, and I came back. And in between the time I left and got back, a law had been passed where you could buy vodka in grocery stores. And that had never happened to me before, because I'm born and raised here. So I was house sitting, which means I drank all the vodka. And I woke up the next day, and we were out of cereal. So at 7 a.m., I went to the grocery store and bought cereal and vodka. And they just let me do it. And I was like, "Look, if you can't sell alcohol to me at 2 a.m., if I'm buying cereal and vodka at 7 a.m., shouldn't you legally be required to ask if everything's okay?" Like, at least hand me a pamphlet with "do you" and then a bunch of questions. And then a number to call if I answer yes to 3 out of 7. Alright guys, I'll end on this. It is Pac-Man's fault for building his home on an Indian burial ground. I'll see if I can do better. The Kool-Aid Man does not understand how doors work. And I like to think every time he busts through that wall, he suddenly remembers and goes, "Oh yeah." That'll do. You guys have a great night.